ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the NORL F1 2018 Championship. Once again, here for round 11 at the Hockenheim Ring, and we've actually just seen Red Bull have a big crash there. I think that was Ryan having that crash, because Murcielaga's still on his way, but Ryan will be starting pretty far back. Chaza comes around the corner, and in the predictable fashion has been the case with Ferrari this season, takes the pole position by 0.4 of a second ahead of Callum J. Spencer. Good position for the Force India up in P2, separating Danny Bin Lahar from the rear of the Ferrari. Lord John UK, pretty decent qualifying as well for a P4. Kevin Jacobs continuing to improve, goes P5 as well. Aneltanovic P6. Now, P5, sorry. What I'm interested to see is what tyres everybody is on, because I get the feeling that Aneltanovic will have qualified on the alternates, as he so often does. Hello, Maka. How are you doing, buddy? How is your evening going? I hope you'll be joining me in this race to talk a little bit. So, as I suspected, Aneltanovic in P6 is going on the alternate tyres. He'll be starting on softs, so not even just the super softs, full-on softs, as is the case from P6 all the way down to P9. And then Testameister in P10 on the Ultra Softs, and Subaru Ryan down there, last of the ones to set a time, of course, as he had that spin. Seppi and Ragnar failed to set a time, though. And thus, they end up where they are. So Maka, the only active one, King Maka 14 in the chat, the only active one at the moment. Who's your money on to win this race? Let's find out when he has a look, as we're just waiting for the grid to get going. I do want to apologise before the race gets going. I am coughing quite a lot. I've got my bottle of Cavonia, but it's not working quite yet. Does a little bit of the work, but not a lot. Yeah, I feel you, man. I don't feel great either. But we got to strive through it. Monday tomorrow as well. Monday tomorrow kind of makes you feel a little bit more ill. Right. So we're just waiting for players. We're waiting specifically for Lord George, Seppi, and a few others to get to the grid. But now we're on the grid, and these guys will go out for their formation lap. So let's take a look at those tyres once again. It's the top 5 on Ultras, and then there's a big chunk of softs with some guys out of position. For example, Subaru Ryan, quite committing here, got away with this quite well, actually, because for those of you that don't know, he spun out on his lap, so he finished outside of the top 10. So what that means is he had free tyre choice. He could start on whatever tyres he wanted, and he's decided to go on the soft compound strategy, meaning the only man out of position in the Ultras is Testameister, and because he finished 10th, he's technically in the top 10, which means he has to start on those Ultras. So he's all kinds out of position, and he'll need to get a move on as soon as possible. That's an expert strategy, Maka, which means you can sit and watch us for as long as you like. Unfortunately, Murcielaga does get disqualified for contact on the formation lap. Of course, that just means he'll start on the grid. Not disqualified from the whole race, just from the formation lap. So, Force India getting very close to the Ferrari there. The whole top 4 is bunched together. Very much so. And then it's Kevin Jacobs lagging a little bit behind. Actually catching Aneltanovic out a little bit. So let's get ready for what will hopefully be a thrilling 34 laps for Maka. Let's get Maka's blood pumping and hope that these guys can put on a good show for him this evening. Well, I drink some Cavonia Original Bronchial Balsam Syrup. The drink of champions. So we line up on the grid for round 11 of the championship in Germany. Chaza will lead from pole position ahead of Callum Spencer. Danny Bin Lahar will line up on the second row of the grid on P3. but all eyes are going to be on the front two. Going into turn one, going to be a very tight corner. Who will dare? Who will not? Lights out. And away we go. Who got the better start out of the front? It's very hard to tell, but it looks like Callum Spencer got a poor start, which has allowed Danny Ibn Lahar to go clean around the outside before we've even got going. Lots of contact in the background. Cars going all over the joint. And it's the two Red Bulls that fill up the rear of the grid as we head now down into the turn two. Destes making some moves up on the inside there. The Hasses getting a very good start. Nemesis Racing. Dougie Aframan overtakes Anil Tanovic, who's another one to have a poor start on then soft compound tyres as we head into the hairpin for the first time. And Danny Ibn Lahar getting the slipstream and moving up the inside for the race lead on lap number one. Danny Ibn Lahar going for it, and that's actually the Force India of Callum Spencer almost trying to follow him through. Not enough room there. Chazza does try to do a switchback to get back on Danny Ibn Lahar, but Danny Ibn Lahar on the Renault, on the Ultra Softs, takes the lead in the hairpin. Ooh, a lot of drifting action going on from Callum Spencer. We'll invite Lord George to have a little sniff at the Force India, see if anything interesting comes about it. Anil Tanovic was pretty close behind. Dougie Aframan as well. Ragnar has made some places up. Seppi yet to gain any ground from starting last on the grid. Around into the stadium section we come. It is still a comfortable lead for Danny Ibn Lahar. Kevin Jacobs has taken the position back away from Nemesis Racing as Nemesis goes very wide in the final corner, and Kevin Jacobs actually goes even further wide on that one. A little bit of gravel kicked up there, and away we go for the next lap. Now, a lot of guys got a very poor exit, but there won't be many moves going into turn one because of the natural style of the corner, and a very good run by Subaru Ryan. Might see him, but the man who's making the move already is Anil Tanovic going up the inside of Dougie Aframan for P7. Gets the job done down the inside. Is there anything the Sauber can do about it? The Sauber going back up the inside, getting the better run. Now these guys will drag side by side. Down up into the hairpin they go, and it's Testermeister on the inside of Dougie Aframan. Anil Tanovic is there as well, so it's almost free wide as we go into the hairpin. It's going to be very, very close. Dougie Aframan's going to be hung out to dry here, and he does get bumped a little bit off the circuit and loses a couple of positions. Now the Subaru Ryan car of the Red Bull is now getting involved with the Defstes in the background. Defstes holding the inside line, and Subaru Ryan is going to try and go around the outside. That's very tense. Anil Tanovic does go wide in front. That's going to give Testermeister an opportunity to try and go around the outside. That's never going to work, so he's going to have to go off the circuit in that regard. Meanwhile, the Sauber getting involved with the Force India now. Defstes makes a move on Dougie Aframan. Subaru Ryan messes up that corner. Is that going to invite Defstes to have a move? No, it's not. The two Hasses running line of stern. Nemesis has re-overtaken his teammate, so the Hass is going to war early on. Chazza doing his best to get the race lead back from Danny Ibn Lahar. So it's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix in the meantime. Meanwhile, it looks like Testermeister's had a little bit of an issue, losing positions hand over fist, and will drop to almost last on the grid, going very side by side with Galactic Skull 2 on the outside. That's very, very close. Meanwhile, it looks like this could be the opportunity that Chaz has been waiting for. Trying to slip up all of that slipstream, trying to go for the move into the hairpin, but he's not gaining as much as Danny Ibn Lahar did. So Danny Ibn Lahar got a much better top speed. We have yellow flags in Sector 2, and that's because Testermeister has retired. And there he was. That car back there had no front wheel. You can just see it in the background. We can't select it, unfortunately. But Testermeister out. Contact on the backstrip. Lord George UK is pressuring Callum Spencer though for P3 in the meantime as we head towards the stadium section once again, past the Mercedes grandstand, and the two Mercedes powered cars make their way into the stadium section. Lots of battles wherever you look at the moment. Everyone roughly within a second of each other, quite a train forming. Oh, Anil Tanovic spins. Ryan has nowhere to go, and the man with no luck gets even more. Oh God, contact, lots of contact between. Look at this, Dougie Aframan spears across the track, and now Murcielago hits him with nowhere to go whatsoever. Ryan has to cut across the track grass to get into the pits. Destes is forced to let Ragnar through because there's just nowhere to go. Callum Spencer's into the pits as well for a scheduled stop. And it's all gone wrong for this man, Dougie Aframan. Yellow flags in Sector 3. Dougie Aframan trying to get that car home, but I think he has a puncture, hence why he's struggling to get into the pits. Super Ryan gets those repairs. Callum Spencer comes out in P12. We have a yellow flag in Sector 1 and 2. Destes has gone for a spin on the inside. His teammate will see him as he's struggling to get that car back onto the circuit. Puts it in reverse. But Super Ryan's coming. Is he going to be saved? Yeah, of course he's going to be saved. Chaz, meanwhile, is still trying to battle away with Danny Ibn Lahar. Dougie Aframan into the pits for that long repair. He's gone to the medium compound tyre, meaning he's probably going to try and go to the end of the race with no more pit stops. Jazza, meanwhile, has closed in on Danny Ibn Lahar once again. Little lock up on the left front from Chazza. Danny looking to beat the Ferraris for the first time in a long time here today. Only got one to fight against today. Both of these guys, their teammate is no longer in the race. Of course, Nibbler did not start, which is big for the championship once again. And Danny Ibn Lahar, his teammate Testameister, DNF'd. So the battle for the constructors between Ferrari and Renault is all up to these men today. Nemesis Racing has closed in quite a lot on Lord Jord. Meanwhile, Chazza does have DRS now on Danny Ibn Lahar, and if this is an opportunity, then Chazza's certainly going to make something of it as we head towards the hairpin. He's going to have to go the long way around there. Danny Ibn Lahar not giving him the inside line, and now that's a little bit tricky because he can try switch back and get the better run, but as you can see, he just gets on the throttle too much and the car complains. Doesn't let him do that. Nemesis Racing makes the move for P3 on the soft compound of tyre, by the way. Great driving from Nemesis Racing in this early phase of the Grand Prix. Defstairs now in the pit lane for repairs. Meanwhile, Chazza and Danny Ibn Lahar continue their battle out of the Mercedes grandstand towards the stadium section. It's a similar story. Wherever you look, there's a battle going on. Ooh, very, very close on the helicopter cam for both first and second and third and fourth. Two battles going on simultaneously, and it's kind of hard to see who's going to come out. Ooh, look how close Chazza got to hitting the rear end of Danny Ibn Lahar as he got such a superior run. Won't make the move into turn one. There's no chance that he'll be able to get it through there. Danny does go a little bit wide though, and DRS deployment for Chazza. Meanwhile, Lord Jord comes into the pit lane. Now, this is the best opportunity Chaz has had in a long, long time, and he's going to have DRS to boot, so he just needs to maximise this exit he can get and go for it. Gaining and gaining and gaining. Chazza going around the outside once again. Big front double lockup. We've seen this time and time again. This time they're battling with each other, hitting wheels on the exit, and it is Danny Ibn Lahar with an iron wall defence once again to stop Chazza taking the lead of the race. Oh, big lockup on the front from Chazza as he desperately tries to find a way past the Renault. Nothing doing. Looking to the outside this time for the stadium section. Tries to get the better exit. Maybe he can pop it down the inside. Danny Ibn Lahar's wise to that though and covers that inside line. So no chance for Chazza up the inside of the stadium section. We'll just have to stay behind for a little bit longer to come into the penultimate corner and then the final corner once more. How close he gets, and that affects his exit so much that he can't challenge into turn one, and then he's got to consider turn two more than anything else. So you can see the guys who stopped now on your screen. Speaking of stopping, Kevin Jacobs comes into the pit lane. The man in the best place probably right now is Chazza. Sorry, not Chazza, Nemesis Racing. We were talking about Chazza because look at the run he's got, almost pushing Danny Ibn Lahar down the straight. Anywhere to go with it, needs to get past him before that corner so he can swap over to the inside. Is he going to be able to do it? Now can he swap to the inside? He covers the middle. Danny's forced to the outside this time. Still a lockup for Chazza. Means he goes a little bit wide, which means Danny can try to switch back this time. And they're going to be side by side, and it's Chazza who gets the optimal run through the next section as we head down to the Mercedes-Benz grandstand. It is Chazza retaking the lead of the race on lap 7. Another Red Bull and Murcielago pitted in the meantime. Lord Jord is going side by side with Kevin Jacobs. This is for position. However, at the front, these guys are further up once everyone's made their stops, of course. So this is crucial to that. Kevin Jacobs goes side by side with Lord Jord, and it's Lord Jord that wins that fight this time around. Galactic Skull 2 is but 3 tenths behind Ragnar, meanwhile, in the stadium section. Is there anything the Scotsman can do against the Italian? Yeah, Danny Ibn Lahar has come into the pit lane. An undercut attempt, then, on the Ferrari of Chazza, who now leads. None of these guys opted to pit yet. Both struggling to get the power down. Where's Danny going to come out behind all this traffic? I think he might come out behind these guys. It'll be quite close. It'd be better for him if he came out ahead of them, but he's not going to. So Danny Ibn Lahar will come out in a pretty clean air. If he can keep Callum Spencer behind him, that'd be much better, because Callum Spencer's gone for the undercut on Danny Ibn Lahar from P3 for P2, potentially P1. It's a good undercut attempt by Callum Spencer, but it's not got him the position that he needs to take the net lead, or at least net second in this race. Meanwhile, Galactic Skull 2's got a big run on Ragnar, going to the inside for the hairpin. This should be an easy move for the Scotsman, but Ragnar brakes later than I've ever seen around the outside and surrenders that due to that late braking maneuver. Surrenders P4 to the Scot. Meanwhile, these guys are going at it. This is potentially for the battle of the lead, but it is going to be hurting them if they battle this much. It leads the battle for second. Can Carl Spencer go down the inside? No, he cannot. Thought about it. No way. No way through on that opportunity. Chazza responds to the undercut attempt then from Ragnar. Sorry, not from Ragnar. Ragnar is just behind Galactic Skull 2. It is the undercut attempt from Danny Bin Lahar and Carl Spencer. These two battling, though, won't help their chances. Here comes Chazza then, released from his box. Nemesis now takes the lead of the race, still yet into pit. And those are the other two just coming around the final corner. Where's Chazza going to come out in reference to them? He'll be allowed to take a speed limiter off now. And where's Danny Bin Lahar? He's just behind him. It's going to be close. He's gaining. It's going to take Chazza a little while to get up to speed. Is Danny going to be able to send it up the inside of this corner? No, he's not. But he's going to hang back and try go for the DRS. This is a very good place for Danny Bin Lahar to be right now because he'll get DRS, whereas Chazza shouldn't have got DRS off anybody. So this is all Danny's opportunity to take the lead back of the race here, going into the hairpin. Chazza knows it, so he defends the inside line with all that he can. And Danny Bin Lahar gets the move completed, but Chazza's going to try his best to send it down the inside to prevent that from happening. A little bit of contact between the two. Desperate move from Chazza ends up in Danny Bin Lahar taking the net lead of the race. Good freeway battle for the lead right now because Callum Spencer, of course, is in the fray. So it's Renault versus Ferrari versus Force India, soon to be called Racing Point F1, of course, in real life. Meanwhile, the Toro Rosso and Red Bulls exchanging positions in the background there. Nemesis Racing then leads, Anil Tanovic second, and the Scotsman of Galactic Skull 2 third. These guys all on the soft compound tyres and all yet to pit. But the guys who have already pitted are gaining on them so much that their overcut attempt on the alternate strategy not going to play them no favours here today. Of course, all these battles ahead of them, though, are for position. So this is going to make it very, very interesting for Danny Bin Lahar because he's defending from Chazza, but he needs to get past his compatriot of Ragnar. And how's he going to be able to do that if they're all battling for position? Now, Chaz is going to try and maximise this opportunity. Callum Spencer needs to close up a little bit more if he can to take full advantage of this, because Ragnar's going to get DRS on Galactic Skull 2. Danny Bin Lahar is going to get DRS on Ragnar, and it's just going to be one big DRS chain. Now, luckily for Callum Spencer, he is just falling out of a second, but he did still get DRS on that opportunity. Now, Danny Bin Lahar is going to try and make two moves in one around the outside of the hairpin. That'll be an absolute stellar move if he can pull that off. He's going to have to go off the circuit to complete it. Stellar move by Danny Bin Lahar. Puts a car between himself and the Ferrari, which makes things a little more interesting. However, Galactic Skull 2 is going to make the pain of the Renault that much more intense as he tries to go down the outside, costing Danny Bin Lahar time and giving back all that time and allowing Chazza to go through now on the inside as we head to the stadium sector. Carl Spencer's in the mix as well, going side by side with Ragnar. That's not a corner that usually goes side by side, and that's the reason why a little bit of contact. They both get away with it for now. That's going to be so much more worse. So you can see pretty much everybody but Subaru Ryan, Dougie Aframan, Merchulago and Destes all on the medium tyres. Pretty much everyone else is on the soft, and Galactic Skull 2 finally comes into the pit lane. Now the battle for the lead really starting to heat up once again because it's Chazza who's going to get a very good DRS run going into turn 2. Might not even need the long straight. That'd be wiser for him if he stayed around, because the bigger bite of the cherry does come on this straight, and that's exactly what Chazza's done. Is he's hanged fire for now so he can just hang back and now use the full advantage of the slingshot for the hairpin. So here we go, trying to go around the outside is Chazza. Going to be a long way around the outside, but he goes for the switchback that he's tried to do so many times. Nothing doing. But he's trying so hard that he'll go around the outside of the Mercedes grandstand sector. Now that's going to be an even harder move than the hairpin. Can't pull it off either, so has to hang back and wait for the stadium sector once again. There's not really an opportunity to overtake in the stadium sector, but we'll see if Chazza can make it a possibility. That's a very good run though out of the corner. Ooh, he could have gone down the inside of Danny Bin Lahar, but he didn't. Didn't risk it. Now, where is Callum Spencer in this fight? Has he closed in yet? No, he's just behind them. Chazza's searching for any weakness in the Renault that he can exploit. Danny Bin Lahar still in the net lead in the race. Of course, Nemesis Racing leads from Anil Tanovic, them two yet to pit. Both on 11-lap-old softs. Now, it's a good run from Chazza. Is he just going to go for the move, or is he going to stay behind once again? He is going to stay behind once again to get the better slingshot. Now, he needs to get the move done before we even get to the braking zone now, because Chaz is finding it very hard to make this move around the outside of this hairpin. So Chaz needs to get a move that's good enough to get past him before we even reach the hairpin, and he's going for the inside, but there was no room to go there. He still takes it anyway up the inside, but the lead of the race, Chaz, surely this time. No, Danny Bin Lahar's on the outside of the circuit, and this time, oh, big spin. He was put around by Chaz. Chaz put the Renault around, and Danny taken out of the race, out of contention for the win. And yeah, that's a brutal way to end that battle for the lead. I think Chaz will take a penalty for that. Pinched him around, NASCAR style. And Danny's race is all but ruined now. He will not be pleased in the slightest, as they'll have to pit for a new front wing, because he's taken so much damage that he's just been passed, and he lets everyone go. He doesn't want to ruin their races. Good sportsmanship by Danny Bin Lahar. Such an unfortunate way for that battle to end. And that's a shame. That's a real shame. Now Chaz just has to deal with Anil Tanovic to get up into P2 and effectively the net leader of the race. The only man that can challenge Chaz really now for the win of the race is Callum Spencer, who needs to up his pace if he wants to do that. Now Chaz will try to go around the outside of Anil Tanovic. Big double lockup. Trying to go for the switchback, but this time Anil defends the inside line, which actually gives the racing line to Chaz. So is Chaz going to be able to hold it here? This is going to be close, because he should be able to go up the inside of the Mercedes-Benz grandstand. No, he doesn't. Locks up, but Anil Tanovic goes wide, so that's going to bring Chaz back into the fray once more. Going for the stadium section once again. He looks to the inside, nothing doing. Hangs back and waits. Waits for the opportunity to present itself. Nothing through the stadium sector, though. Going wide, getting on the throttle once again. Closing in as much as he can. Round the penultimate corner, then round the final corner. Will he have a run into turn one? He'll be close, but I don't think he's going to do it. I think he'll wait until turn two. And then not even then. I think he'll try for the hairpin once again. But it's so tight. That he's been forced to the outside line so many times, and he just struggles to do that. Now, he goes for the move around the outside of turn two. Anil Tanovic says, no, thank you, ma'am. I'm going to fight that. Now, will Anil get DRS on Chaz to be able to recontest that? Yes, he will. So Anil will come back with a vengeance. But meanwhile, Callum Spencer's involved as well. This could be a free-wide situation going into the hairpin. It very much is. Anil moves across to cover off Chaz. That's going to allow Callum Spencer to try go around the outside and take the lead of the race. Can Callum Spencer take the lead of the race? He can. Callum Spencer leads the race. Well, he doesn't. Nemesis Racing does, but once Nemesis Racing pits, which he still has to do, mind you, Callum Spencer will lead. Now, how long can he hold off Chaz for is the question. Luck came into Callum's favour in that particular scenario, which means Chaz now has to get past the Force India and hopefully not make contact with him like he did with Danny Bin Lahar, but he'll follow him through the stadium sector and try and get him into the hairpin again. I'm very sure he will try the hairpin manoeuvre. Meanwhile, what's going on at the back of the pack? Galactic Skull 2 is having a battle with Subaru Ryan. Seppi and Defstez are going at it, hammer and tong. Meanwhile, Defstez trying to hold it on the outside. Big front double lockup. Oh, and Seppi almost takes out Defstez. Meanwhile, these guys are going hammer and tong. Chaz got a much better run out of the last corner. Anil Tanovic finally pits, as does Ragnar. Chaz is searching for anything. Will get the DRS this time around. Let's see what Callum Spencer's defense. Anil Tanovic goes on the medium compound of tyres. One-stop strategy then. Chaz gaining will go around the outside. What can Callum Spencer offer in terms of defence for the inside? Big front lockup from Chaz. He's going to do it around the outside. Makes mincemeat of Callum Spencer's defence. Callum on much older tyres than Chaz, however. So it was coming. But it would have been nice to see the battle spruced up for a little bit more. It's not over just yet. Callum can still hang on. But Callum, I don't think, is too long away from pitting. Made a very early stop, remember. Subaru Ryan has passed Galactic Skull 2 in the meanwhile, in the hairpin. Judging by how far off the circuit Galactic Skull 2 was, I think there might have been a bit of contact. Ragnar and Murcielago going at it once again in the hairpin as well. So, Nemesis Racing finally pits, which means Chazza takes the lead of the Grand Prix officially. Medium tyres for Nemesis as well. Now, where's he going to come out in his battle against Aneltanovic? That's quite an interesting statistic. Of course, it takes him a little while to get sped up. Now, Lord George should pass him with ease. Will his teammate of Kevin Jacobs? I don't think he will. Aneltanovic has got no chance. Nemesis holds it on the inside for third. Ooh, a sly undercut comes from Kevin Jacobs, which almost causes contact between the three of them. A big sandwich then. A fucking a Mercedes sandwich on Haas bread is what I wanted to say. Before I had a complete brain fart. Kevin Jacobs makes the best of a free wide situation to take P3. Nemesis Racing will try and make it an all-Haas second row. Nothing on that opportunity. Meanwhile, in the background, Galactical 2 has made the move on Subaru Ryan once again. Now it is a Nemesis Racing 3-4. Will Nemesis play rear gunner for the time being for his teammate? That remains to be seen. Going for the stadium sector. He goes for a much wider run, but that just affects his line, which doesn't allow him to gain any time on Nemesis. Nemesis does go wide in the next corner, though, so that could be brought into play. Around the penultimate corner into the final corner. What does it look like with the battle between Subaru Ryan and Galactic Skull 2, I wonder? It's got a dead heat everywhere you look at the moment. Aneltanovic is coming into this battle now. It's Kevin on the podium, ahead of his teammate, ahead of Lord George, ahead of Aneltanovic. So you got soft tyre, medium, soft tyre, medium. Fresh mediums up, might offer... Apologies for that technical difficulty there. As we was just saying, fresh mediums will offer roughly about the same level of grip as some old softs, so a dead heat between these guys. Meanwhile, no team orders at Haas, because Nemesis Racing wants that podium for himself down the inside of his teammate Kevin Jacobs, who goes for the switchback, but nowhere to go with it. And now goes for another switchback. That was a much better executed switchback from Kevin Jacobs, who now takes the inside line for the stadium section and takes it away from Nemesis Racing. Look at this battle going on here. Big lockup from Lord George, who now gets underneath Nemesis, but nowhere to go with it. The train now continues into the penultimate corner. Going wide, though, is Nemesis Racing. Getting a little bit of time, potentially, on his teammate. Aneltanovic is almost pushing Lord George across the line. Such is the better run he got through turn one. Cuts the corner. Meanwhile, Lord George extends the corner, so... both of them making a mistake on that opportunity. And Anel's going to go down the inside of turn two. Gets the move done. Now the Hasses are going to go to war at the front, I'm sure. And this is a good opportunity for Nemesis, almost alongside him already. And now DRS to help complete the move. But who's got the bigger battery power? Because that's going to help Kevin, I'm sure, try to defend this. Kevin using all of his battery to try to defend this position from his teammate, who will now go for the switchback and go under the inside. But he just couldn't get on the throttle early enough. Does he get the switchback anyway? He does. So, great move by Nemesis Racing, despite having oversteer. I honestly didn't think he was going to make that. Meanwhile, Subaru Ryan and Galactic Skull 2 are going at it in the background as well. They could catch this train if they didn't battle as hard as they was. Ooh, nowhere to go for Lord George there. The Haas teammates are getting ready to go at it again. Into the stadium sector they come. It's Nemesis on the inside. And it was Kevin Jacobs on the outside. Count Spencer does pit. And now that's going to bring them into the clutches here. Nemesis Racing looking for anything to defend with against his teammate through the stadium set to Kevin Jacobs, searching for anything to exploit his teammate's weaknesses with. Now they got a very fast Aneltanovic on the medium compound tyres coming up behind them as well as we cross the start-finish straight. DRS wide open for everyone but Nemesis Racing. Through turn one, a second helping of DRS for everybody. Now will Aneltanovic try to move down the inside. Kevin Jacobs thinks he will, so he defends it. Ooh, tries to go around the outside. Almost gets shoved off the road as the door increasingly closed. And meanwhile, we have a spin. Seppi, big spin in the third sector, as he'll now struggle to get back on the circuit. Anatanovic, meanwhile, did pass Kevin Jacobs, but I get the feeling Kevin won't let that go without a fight. Will he go back down the inside? Yes, he will, but will Anil be able to hold it around the outside? It's going to be tough, but it's possible. Who will get the better traction? I think Kevin did get the better traction, but now Anil has the outside line. If he can hold it, he can go down the inside of the Mercedes-Benz grandstand, and I think that's what he's going to go for. Anatanovic makes the move for P5. Where does that leave Lord George? Chazza now pits from the undercut attempt from Callum Spencer. Now, this will be interesting up the front, but this is much more interesting going into the stadium sector because Anatanovic has made it up into P4, but meanwhile they're going to be brought into this dogfight. Where is Callum Spencer? Meanwhile, he's all the way back here, and no undercut from Callum Spencer, I don't think. What a battle that is forming for third. Absolutely amazing. Now, there you can see just how big of a gap Chazza has gained since the battle he had with Callum Spencer. Through turn 1, down to turn 2. Gaining. Anything. Nothing. Opens up the revs to close in on Kevin Jacobs. DRS will now deploy. Can Lord George take 5th away from Kevin Jacobs here? Oh, look at that. There's just so much of an overspeed that there was nothing Kevin could have done. Saved up his battery power for that one. Got the move done. As sweet as you'd like, but Kevin does go for a switchback. Is it possible? No, it's not. Lord George takes P5. Nemesis Racing in P3 then, and Anatanovic will try hunt him down and fight for that final spot on the podium. 14 laps to go. The Hasses have been very strong here at Germany, to be fair. Very strong. Into the stadium section, Lord George does make a mistake. Around the outside, Kevin Jacobs, can he hold it? Can he hold it? It's a long way around the outside. He's up against the apex. Now this is going to be interesting. Oh, you don't go side by side through there because that happens. Kevin Jacobs gets bumped off, but survives to tell the tale. And he'll get away with that one and resume his battle with Lord George, but not really anybody's fault there. You don't go side by side through that section for a reason. Callum Spencer setting fastest laps of the race. Meanwhile, Nemesis Racing under pressure from Anatanovic. And then the first stage of this battle is about to begin, down towards the hairpin. And it's such a speed difference from Anatanovic that he's going to go for the move up the inside. Nemesis really had nothing to fight with there. Anatanovic moves into 3rd place. Switchback attempt from Nemesis Racing, and that's actually going to work out pretty well for him because now he has the inside line going into the Mercedes-Benz grandstand. Nothing doing on this occasion. We have yellow flags in sector 3. Who is that for? Not sure. Whoever it was has got themselves sorted out. Meanwhile, these two trying to get themselves sorted out. Nemesis Racing takes P3 back, but now goes astronomically wide. He's almost in the Nürburgring. He goes so wide through the stadium section. Anatanovic got the much better run, but nowhere to go with it. Apart from the outside of this corner where Sebastian Vettel went off this year, of course. He's got to try go around the outside, but he can't. Through the penultimate corner to the final corner. Opens up the revs. Gaining. DRS open as well. Lord George comes into the pits. Good run from Anatanovic. That's going to allow him to fight for P3 up the inside of turn 2. Maybe no. Waits back. Realises that he'll get the bigger bite of the cherry in terms of DRS. DRS flap wide open. Down we go then, down the back straight towards the hairpin. Revs wide open, going for the inside manoeuvre. Is Anatanovic up the inside? Can Nemesis do anything on the outside? He'll go for the switchback. It's a nice switchback, to be fair, if he can manage his revs well. And he does. Expertly managed his revs. And that's going to allow him to challenge up the inside, which then, of course, does turn to the outside. So it's advantage Anatanovic once again on the Mercedes-Benz grandstand. Is there a switchback attempt coming from Nemesis? There is. Is it going to get him anywhere? Nowhere to go with it at the moment because the bright orange McLaren slams the door in his face. Anywhere to go? Nowhere. Going wide. Into the stadium section. Anatanovic takes P3, but for how long? Look up and down the pit. Seppi makes his second stop onto some ultra soft tyres. He's got about 11 laps to do on those. That's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. So, down to turn 2. A little bit wide from Nemesis will affect his run for the hairpin. Danny Lahar's got back to 7th. Damage limitation for him today after Chaz had took him out. Nemesis Racing going around the outside of Aneltanovic then. And the move is complete. Before they get to the hairpin, P3 goes back to Nemesis. Two very veteran drivers going at it here. But it's bringing the Scotsman of Galactic Skull 2 into play. Could we see a Sauber podium for the first time this season? It's going to be very interesting. These two keep battling. They're going to bring more than just Galactic Skull 2 into the battle, though. Ragnar's only 8.7 behind, and that's not that lot. That's not a lot when you think of it. Lord Jordan and Kevin Jacobs are going at it towards the back of the grid. Now, Galactic Skull 2 is on much older medium tyres, so he's going to struggle in this battle, but he is catching it at a rate of knots, especially when these guys go side by side through corners. That slowed them both down. 10 laps to go. Oh, Nemesis went a little bit slow through turn 1. That's going to allow Aneltanovic to gain. Can he go around the outside? No. Nothing on that opportunity. He'll try to get the better run out of the two. He is on 1 lap older tyres. See, he's doing 1 stop and who's on 2 stops. These guys all on a 1 stop. Look at that. Look at the speed difference from Aneltanovic. Almost too easy. Aneltanovic takes P3. Such was the speed difference. Nemesis goes for the switchback once again, though. We've seen how this happened last time. Can Nemesis do anything magical with it this time? A dummy, Daniel Ricciardo style dummy down the inside, but Anel was ready for it. Catches him a little bit off guard on the second phase. Now they go side by side, and Nemesis goes off to the Nürburgring once again. Aneltanovic on the inside for the stadium sector. That's not caught. He goes side by side, and that's the reason why Nemesis forced to find an alternate route. And rather than going through the gravel, tries to go for the exit line. And that messed both of them up. Galactic Skull 2 gains from that and goes up into 3rd. Nemesis tried to duck out of that, but the damage was already done. He would have been better off just going through the gravel. So Chazza leads. Danny Lahar pitting for a second time after his front wing came off last time. He'll drop down to P7, and it's Ultra Softs, so very interesting that these guys are going for Ultra Softs with so many laps to go. I'm not sure if these Ultra Softs will last that long. We'll have to see. Kevin Jacobs and Lord Jord are about to resume the battle. That's very close. Kevin Jacobs almost lost some of his front wing there. Very, very close. Up to the hairpin we go. Lord Jord defending for his life against Kevin Jacobs, but Kevin Jacobs is going to send it down the inside, but he's going to lock up, and he's not going to be able to stop, which means Lord Jord can just quite literally take the position back. Meanwhile, Def says, and Murcielago are doing battle in the hairpin for P12. Murcielago has the inside, takes the inside, and takes P12 away from Destes, who gets caught up on the curb, trying to get the throttle down there. Aneltanovic will try with all his might to catch Galactic Skull 2 back up for that 3rd place. Nemesis Racing will have to fend off Subaru Ryan next if he can catch him. Kevin Jacobs has closed back in on Lord Jord. Brought a gap to 0.6 of a second. So we head towards turn 1. We head down to turn 2. Nothing. Again, once again. To the hairpin we go then. Kevin Jacobs will have DRS, and he's within half a second here of Lord Jord UK. So this could be an opportunity if he has the battery power to do it. He is gaining, but how far back would he dare send it? Lord Jord locks up. A switchback attempt from Kevin Jacobs. That doesn't pay off. And Lord Jord will stay in 8th for the time being. Now, Aneltanovic is still quite far behind Galactic Skull 2. He's got Seppi in between them, I believe. Or does he? Yeah, he does. He has Seppi in between. He has a car in between them. It's either... It must be Seppi. It is Seppi, okay. So Aneltanovic will have to lap Seppi. Seppi's on Ultra Softs, fresh Ultra Softs. So Seppi's actually going to catch and probably pass Galactic Skull 2. At that point, what I would do if I was Galactic Skull 2 is I would literally not defend at all. I would let Seppi go through. He's on much faster tyres at this stage in the race, so it would be very easy to risk that podium by battling. Meanwhile, Danny Ibn Lahar finding himself in a battle for the first time since his accident with the race leader Chazza, has caught the back of the battle for P8, which is Lord John versus Kevin Jacobs, and he's on fresh ultras, so he should be able to make light work of this, and he's going to get all the slipstream that he can and look for the inside. Will he say, oh! Oh, no, 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 no. He wanted to send it, but it looked like a very late move from Kevin Jacobs in his defence. Has cost him his front wing again. This race is brutal for Danny Ibn Lahar. Absolutely brutal. It's like he's getting just punched repeatedly in the stomach. And another pit stop will be scheduled for the Renault. Can he sacrifice any points at all today? Subaru Ryan has caught Nemesis Racing on much younger soft tyres compared to Nemesis Racing's 11-lap-old medium tyres. So we head towards turn 2. Ryan getting ready for the bite of the cherry, that is DRS for the hairpin. DRS open. Goes for the inside for P6 then, the Red Bull up the inside. Haas on the outside. What will the Haas do? Big trouble lockup from Subaru Ryan, but he does get it stopped completely on the apex. And there you go. The switchback completely nullified by Ryan's defense. Meanwhile, Destes sets the fastest lap of the race. Wow. Nemesis Racing almost went into the back here. Is Callum Spencer making a free stop? I believe he is. Is he going to go for some ultra soft tyres? He's going for some ultra soft. I'm assuming that's to go for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Seppi has dropped off Galactic Skull 2. Now, what will happen here, I wonder? Battle for second. It's very much an advantage of Callum Spencer because he's on fresh ultras. But maybe he can get a bit of DRS just to extend that gap to Aneltanovic that bit more. Because Anel's gained about a second. He's now trying to deal with Seppi, who isn't lapped. Sorry, no, that's Ragnar. Ragnar has caught up to Aneltanovic and is now trying to lap his own teammate. So Seppi needs to let Ragnar go here because he's catching Aneltanovic. Now this could be an interesting battle towards the end of the race. Aneltanovic versus Ragnar, who is also gaining on Galactic Skull 2, who has been trying to use Callum Spencer as a little bit of a DRS aid. Meanwhile, Lord George going up the inside of Kevin Jacobs into the hairpin. Big double lockup will allow Kevin Jacobs to simply undercut across him. Did he hit him off the track there? I don't know. There might have been a bit of contact. Lord George would be very impressed regardless. But Galactic Skull 2 was using Callum Spencer as a little bit of a DRS help to pull the gap. Callum Spencer's now drove off into the distance on those fresh tyres. And will drive into the sunset, as you would expect on 1-lap-old ultras versus 19-lap-old mediums. Now, Aneltanovic is trying to close in on Galactic Skull 2. Now, the interesting thing is Ragnar's involved in this, so if either one of these three makes a mistake, the other can capitalise now. Apart from Ragnar, of course. Meanwhile, Kevin Jacobs and Lord George going for it for turn 1 once again, with 4 laps remaining on the counter. The battle begins then. Will we go up the inside for turn 2? Ooh, we think about it, but we're not going to. We're going to wait it out, and then we're going to go around. So here we go. DRS then for Lord George against Kevin Jacobs. Will he make the move up the inside? What will Kevin Jacobs do? He's switched back many, many times. Is he going to be able to? No, because Lord George... Oh, Kevin Jacobs does switch back, but he cuts the corner to do so, and therefore kind of rectifies itself by him not getting any traction because he went on the grass. Meanwhile, look how close Ragnar has caught in to Aneltanovic. This is going to get interesting very quick. 3 laps left to go, and there's about to be a battle for 4th place between 2 very experienced racers, both on very old mediums. Danny Ibn Lahar is passing Dougie Aframan, who is trying to hold on for dear life here. You'd think Dougie Aframan, having the ultras, would have the advantage. He does pull away on the traction. Defstez is going to get involved in this fight soon enough as well, so that will be one we have to keep our eye on. But right now, we're keeping a look at Ragnar, who has gained all the way on Aneltanovic, and will try go around the outside with a little bit of DRS helping. What will Aneltanovic have to fight with? He'll duck back into the slipstream, use whatever battery he has to try and minimise the loss. And how late do we dare be on the brakes? Oh, Ragnar's gone awfully wide. That was unnecessarily wide. There wasn't even any pressure for Ragnar there, but it works out for him anyway. Not sure why he went that wide. That gave Anil half a chance to undercut him there. Luckily, it's not worked out that way for him. Ragnar goes wide at the next corner though, so Ragnar really struggling. Now he's in front. He's feeling the pressure, it seems like. Meanwhile, what's happening here with Destes, Danny Ibn Lahar and Dougie Aframan? They're going at it in turn 2. Here they go. The battle for 11th. This isn't even for any points. And these two are going at it hammer and tong. Ultra softs on Dougie Aframan's car against mediums, apparently, on Danny Ibn Lahar's. Although I'm not sure which one I believe, because it says he has mediums, and the game says he has ultras. So could be dead heat, could be advantage Dougie Aframan. I really don't know, but Dougie Aframan does try to take the position back on the hairpin. There you go, Danny Ibn Lahar looking to go. Ooh, very, very close. As we have a yellow flag in sector 3, and that's because Seppi's had an off in the stadium sector. Meanwhile, Aneltanovic and Ragnar going at it once again. Aneltanovic will get the DRS on Ragnar for P4. Here we go, up the inside, and what a speed difference it is. Ragnar has no battery power left to defend this with. Ragnar goes for the inside maneuver. What is Ragnar going to be able to do? He's going to be able to switch back on Aneltanovic. Now we'll drag side by side. SonicX49 says he's just joining the stream and he sees the first thing he sees no Nibbler. Correct. Nibbler did not start this race. The general consensus was he was asleep, I believe. I'm not sure how valid that statement is. But what is a valid statement is Chaza is on the penultimate lap. One more lap after this, and then this race will be on its final lap. Meanwhile, these two don't seem to care how many laps are going on, because they're still going at it hammer and tong. Another guy that's going at it hammer and tong is Danny Ibn Lahar versus Dougie Aframan. Danny looking to the outside this time. What can Dougie Aframan do? He can try hold it on the inside apex. Got yellow flags in sector 3. Seppi retires from the race. Is that a crash? I wonder. We'd have to keep our eye out and see. Aneltanovic trying to close in. This is a good opportunity for Anel once again. He'll have the DRS. He's saved up a little bit of battery, but Ragnar has as well. And I'm sure Ragnar will use that to defend, which he is doing. And I'm sure Anel will try to use that alongside DRS to attack. And there's Seppi's car pulled off to the side. So I think that was a manual retirement. Going to the outside now is Aneltanovic. Can he go around the outside of Ragnar? Now that's the question. Not really is the answer. Stanley Arms in the chat says, my favourite F1 team is Red Bull and Aston Martin. Well, you're not the only one. There's a lot of people who support them. Red Bull's not doing so well today, though. Down in 10th and 6th as it stands. Sister team up in P4. Anil is trying his best. Chaza starts the final lap of the race, which means these gentlemen and these gentlemen have another lap to sort it out. This time Danny Ibn Lahar goes for the outside, and this time gets him such a better run that he saved that battery power, but Dougie comes steaming up the inside to try hold the position. And where's Defstez in all of this? He could capitalise if he was a little closer. He's nowhere near though. Dougie Aframan refusing to let P11 go away. The number 11 trying to refuse P11 to be lost here today. Anything for Danny Ibn Lahar. Now, what's the situation with Aneltanovic? He's actually fallen away quite a bit. Galactic Skull 2 needs to hold on for one more lap, but he's losing so much time now. 23-lap-old medium stand in his way for a podium. He needs to take it easy, needs to take it calm, and not lose a position to these two battling behind him. Chaza, meanwhile, wins in a dominant fashion after battling with Danny and Callum. He did take out Danny Ibn Lahar earlier in the race, so I'm sure the stewards will I do understand that the stewards will take a look at that and see what they think. But Galactic Skull 2 is running out of tyres, coming into the stadium sector for the final time. He just needs to hang on. There's not a lot of overtaking opportunities in this stadium sector. He's just got a little bit to go. And Anantanovic has just got a little bit to go to pass to Ragnar Tomarossa. Is he going to be able to? Anything into the penultimate corner. He's going to get a wide setup, which will hopefully slingshot him for the line. And he goes for the undercut, but nothing doing. Galactic Skull 2 is going to take his first podium in NORL F1. And he doesn't know. Galactic Skull 2 gets some penalties. And he loses the podium. Ragnar will get the podium on penalties. And Altanovic will get P4. That's a bit of an anticlimax for the Sauber team. And the race is all but done. And Chazza is the victor. Getting into it with... I don't even know what's going on. Chazza wins ahead of Callum Spencer and Ragnar on the podium. Colin loses it on penalties. And that will be heart-cutting for the Sauber team today. I am witnessing a Haas falling out of the sky. And now we're back to normality. That was interesting. Chazza wins in round 11. That Sauber could have taken its first podium of the season, but unfortunately was not to be when penalties came into effect. Now I'm interested to see what penalty Galactic Skull 2 had. He had a 3-second time penalty, and because they gained in on him so much, he wasn't able to hold them off. He was on 23-lap-old mediums that had just run out of tyres, but he stretched it anyway. P5 still an honourable result, but he would have wanted the podium today. Chazza wins once again. There's a little bit of controversy involving Chazza and Danny. Looking forward to see what the stewards say about that one. Callum Spencer takes home a well-earned P2 as well. You can join us next time for round number 12 of the F1 2018 NORL Championship. No more Fire GT3. We crowned the champion last week of Mark 1671, so no more racing action on Wednesdays, but you can still catch us on Sundays at the same time for round number 12. See you then.